Bullet Club.
Hello, welcome back to the channel. If you've been with us before, welcome to the channel if this is your first time. This is Allin Presents. I am one of your hosts. I am Allin. This is my co-host, my partner in crime. This is Leanne.
Hi.
And as you've already seen from the title card about 10-15 seconds ago, we are covering our AEW World's End predictions for you today. So that's coming up this Saturday, which is December the 30th, 2023. This is the last pay-per-view of the year for AEW.
Yay.
Given that it is December as well, we hope that everyone had a very happy holiday season, a Merry Christmas, a Happy Hanukkah,
All those things.
whatever you're celebrating around the world. If you're watching us, we hope you've had a wonderful holiday season. Even if you don't celebrate, you had some couple of days off or whatever, we hope you had a great time. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we want to sort of touch on now. We know that this isn't a Christmas video or a holiday video. This is about wrestling, and we all want to get into the wrestling, as it were.
Yeah.
So we just finished watching Dynamite from last night, and this is going to go up today, which is Thursday, the 28th. It gives a couple of days before the pay-per-view. There is a 0 hour. There's been one match announced for that, so we'll cover that. And there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 other matches at the moment on the card. So much like our previous AEW videos and our WWE videos even, SmackDown for WWE especially airs on a Friday, usually the pay-per-view on a Saturday. We're not going to wait to watch SmackDown and then get the predictions up, because by the time we get the predictions up, the pay-per-view is probably already starting. So that would be a bit awkward and a bit not really time efficient. So what we do is we will put this up as soon as we, obviously, I get it edited and whatnot. And then if there's any changes that come later in the week, because there's obviously a Rampage episode to come, I do believe there is not a Collision this week, due to the pay-per-view World's End being on a Saturday. Collision usually has on Saturday. They haven't said anything about Collision, so I'm guessing there is no Collision this week, which is fine, because we're getting a pay-per-view instead. We will put in the description down below, along with the match, the timings in this video, we will put any updated predictions, any new matches, etc. Given there's only one match on the 0 hour as it stands right now, I get the feeling they might add a couple more. Sort of maybe on Rampage or sort of between now and Rampage. And then we'll just update on that. So speaking of 0 hour, and this is going to be a very short, brief, very, very brief part of the video, because we've had one match announced, and it's a 20-man Battle Royale.
Nice.
Who's in the match, Leanne?
No idea.
Exactly. We have no idea who's in the match, so we can't even predict this one, unfortunately. No. I guess we could play a bit of fun with this, is that who do you think you would pick to win the Battle Royale?
Oh, gosh.
Just surmising, like, oh, well, this person hasn't got a match on the card, then who can we just chuck in there and win it?
I honestly have no idea.
I know. It's really tricky.
Yeah.
I would probably pick maybe someone like Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah.
Who doesn't have a match. He was eliminated from the Continental Classic. We'll talk about the finals of that later on. But as it stands, Claudio lost, so he didn't even get to the finals of the Blue League. Brody King didn't get to the finals of the Blue League, so it could be good to see them. Maybe one of the House of Black members.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool. Sort of going on the vein of not on the pay-per-view, I'm surprised they didn't have FTR versus House of Black, because that's been being teased for last, maybe about a month or so now.
Maybe it's coming later.
Yeah, but then the next pay-per-view is in March, so it's going to be on like Dynamite or Collision, but I feel like it's, whilst they are obviously the flagship shows per se of the company, I feel a pay-per-view kind of feel to this match would probably benefit better for it, but hey, it is what it is. So as it stands, no predictions for this one right now, just because we do not know who is in the match.
No.
It's hard to predict who's going to win if we don't know who's in the damn thing.
Yep.
So if they do go on Rampage, hey, here's like 10 of the 20 or whatever, we'll try and put an update in the description.
Yes.
Down below.
It'll be fun, mind.
Yeah, I do like a good battle royale.
Yeah.
So with this then, if you've seen our videos before, you'll know how this goes. For those of you who haven't, what we're going to do, or what I have done rather, because I host the predictions, Leanne hosts the reactions. Okay, so the way I do it is I'll do the non-title matches first, followed by the title matches, in the order that I'm kind of looking forward to the most.
Yep.
So the least looking forward to non-title match, then leading up to the most looking forward non-title match, and then the most looking forward title match going up all the way to the main attraction in my mind on the pay-per-view as a whole, per se. Sometimes it might not be a title match, but then we'll obviously try and. But I tend to sort of swerve it up a little bit and switch it around. Swerve. See how I did that? Okay, so first match we're going to talk about just got announced on Dynamite last night. There was only about 4 matches on the Dynamite last night. Now there's 9.
Yeah.
Like they just dropped like 5 matches and they said, well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
We do have Andrade El Idolo, and he is taking on the Redeemer Miro.
Yes.
So this has kind of come about from CJ Perry, who is in real life is Miro's wife, is hot and flexible wife.
Yep.
Who hasn't been seen for a couple of weeks because she did have to be admitted to hospital for some sort of septic infection. They fixed it. They got the infection out. So we hope she's on the road to recovery. No wish any ill will on people. And then we sort of had this thing with Miro being like, right, I want to rip Andrade's head off. And then CJ Perry's like, no, you can't. You know, whilst he's my client, I couldn't think of the word, then I'd rather you don't touch him. And I was like, okay, but I'm guessing this is now coming to head because CJ Perry's not there.
Yeah.
I get the feeling that if she was, this would have kind of been playing out a little bit more in the storyline of everything.
Yeah, because Mira's been saying, I don't care anymore, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
get him.
Yeah. And I guess this is just the way to sort of go like, well, we can't backburn this because we've got the match coming up at World's End and we've got to put it out there, so let's just boom, kick it in straight off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Andrade versus Miro. There's not really much else to say about that in my mind. Have you got anything else to say about this?
I mean, it's depending on how CJ Perry is recovering. She might be there and cause some interference.
Potentially. I'm not quite sure how a septic infection and surgery from that would sort of be handled in terms of flying or traveling. I don't know.
Yeah, not sure.
Touch wood, touching the table, touching wood. I never have that, and I never get to experience that. But yeah, she might turn up.
Mm-hmm.
She might turn up. It'll be awkward for her because that's her husband versus her client.
She has to make that choice.
Yeah. But I think it would be a really good drama if it is, because who'd you pick?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Who have you got?
I feel like my prediction would be different if CJ Perry's there or not, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I think if she is there, I think Andrade wins.
Mm-hmm.
I think if she's not there, Miro wins.
Okay. So I guess the prediction then is twofold. Is CJ Perry going to show up, and who do you think is going to actually win it?
I think I'm going to go with Miro.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll be the end of this feud, whether it carries on with Andrade or just another one of CJ Perry's clients. I think there's more to this story, but I think Miro to win. Yeah,
I think if there's a clear-cut winner, it's going to be Miro. I get the feeling this might end up just becoming a massive brawl, and it'd be like a double count-out or some sort of disqualification, or the wrestler's control. I guess that would be a good way to kind of fuel it.
Mm-hmm.
To be like, well, Andrade's like, well, he's your husband, you sort him out, or I'm going to. And the Miro's like, he's your client, you sort him out, right? And he'll kind of hit a head like maybe a steel cage or another disqualification. So I think this, as you say, it's not going to be a one and done.
No,
it's going to be a couple of different steps.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we do have we've got an 8-man tag. So we got. I'm trying to figure out how the best way to do this. So we'll sort of talk about that. We got Chris Jericho, Sting, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara versus Ricky Starks, Big Bill, were the tag team champions, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Carl Fletcher, who's the Ring of Honor television champion. So this was originally set to be Big Bill and Ricky Starks defending the AEW World Tag Team Championship against the Golden Jets, Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago now, Kenny Omega had a match with Ethan Page, and he won that match. And then they appeared on Dynamite, and I think he got beat down by Bill or Starks, one of the two. The next day, he was in hospital with diverticulitis, and he is currently out indefinitely. The doctors apparently told him there was a 50% chance of living when he got to the hospital.
Yeah.
I only saw it a couple of days ago. But it's diverticulitis is some sort of intestinary condition. It's what made Brock Lesnar have to quit MMA.
Yeah.
So he had to leave UFC because he couldn't fight with this condition, with this, I don't know if it's a disease or a virus. I'm not entirely certain. I don't know the specifics of it. But Kenny Omega has it and is out indefinitely. So obviously they've had to kind of swerve this around a bit now.
Yeah.
To try and keep Jericho and this Big Bill, Ricky Starks, but also keeping the Don Callis family relevant into it, kind of fanning those flames a little bit.
Yes.
So they did. They had on Dynamite last night, as we were recording this, we had Don Callis come out with his Boxing Week celebrations, and he's got these ridiculously painted images of everyone. Out comes Sammy Guevara, and he unveils it, and he's got one who's holding his newborn little girl, and Sammy's like, who gave you permission to put my baby's face on this photo? And then Don Callis kind of takes exception to it, and they kind of, he's like, well, you didn't call me when I was injured, I've been out for a while, I had a concussion, because that was legit, he did have a concussion. I can't remember when he suffered it. It might have been Forbidden Door. Might have been he was at All In, so he might have been All Out. Possibly. I'm a bit sketchy on that one, on my memory. But Don Callis apparently didn't call Sammy at all to check up on him. He just didn't give a rat's ass, basically. And Sammy is a bit PO'd over this, understandably so. And then Don Callis kind of gets the boys to beat him down.
Yeah.
Out comes Jericho with Floyd, makes the save. Sammy and Jericho make up. They hug. They smash the paintings that Don Callis is trying to give to people. I'm surprised that when Jericho hit that first one, I thought it was just going to be like a card with a frame around it. It was glass.
Yeah.
Like you hit that, it's obviously going to be breakaway glass, but boom, you think the crowd's going to get some of that, right? You know? And then obviously Big Bill and Ricky Starks comes in, and they start beating down on Sammy and Jericho. The lights go out. They come back up, and it's Sting and Darby Allin. And obviously that leads into the 8-man tag.
Yes.
Which is great. I think it's fantastic. So Cal Fletcher is the new television champion for Ring of Honor. Samoa Joe, some number of weeks back, relinquished the title. At Final Battle, there was, I want to say, a 6-person match. I haven't seen that pay-per-view yet, where Cal Fletcher wins. So that's why Cal Fletcher is the new Ring of Honor television champion. Anything else to say about this?
I think you covered it all, really.
Get well, Kenny Omega?
Yes,
definitely. Pulling for you?
It's a nice sort of twist, because I think it's only recently, really, relatively, that Sammy turned on Jericho to go to the Don Callis family. And because of the situation, they've decided to flip it back. But it didn't feel rushed or forced. They did it really well.
No.
And used real life situations to sort of lend into it, which I think is a good way of doing it.
Yes.
It's good to see them back again. The Spanish guards are great times.
Les Sex Guards.
That's the one.
The Spanish Guards works too. I'm just trying to see if I've got where he was last. There might have been an episode of Dynamite, you know. My memory, I should have looked this up before, but it's, yeah. Okay. So who have you got winning?
I think Team Jericho.
Team Jericho.
I think partly a bit like almost tribute to Kenny Omega to have that match go what would have been his way.
Ooh, yeah.
I think that would be a nice touch.
Yeah, I agree. I think that I agree with that. I firmly believe that if the Golden Jets versus Bill and Starks went ahead, Golden Jets will be the new tag champs.
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
So they've had to kind of obviously come up with something on the fly.
Yeah.
But instead of just going, well, Jericho's got a new tag team partner, they're doing this 8-man tag, which I kind of like. I like that idea.
They haven't sort of forced something into the same hole.
No.
It's making something new.
And it leads then into Jericho and Sammy reconnecting, reuniting. And then I think that maybe January on Dynamite, maybe somewhere down the line, you'll have Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Big Bill and Ricky Starks for the titles, and they will win that. And I think that'll be like, oh yeah, this is great. But I guess maybe they're trying to hold off and seeing how long Kenny's out for maybe first. I don't know.
Possibly.
I don't know what they think.
I think making Jericho and Sammy tag team champs at this pay-per-view would be a mistake.
Yes.
I think it would be way too soon. But having it build up potentially to something in the future, I think is a good idea.
Yeah. I agree. Let's get those Les Sex Gods with the tag belts.
Yeah.
Cool. The last non-title match we have, there's 6 title matches. I forgot to mention there's 6 title matches, 4 non-title matches as we stand right now. So the last of the non-title matches is Swerve. Strickland versus Keith Lee. So this is by no means a new feud. This is probably going for the better part of a year, but they've kind of had it on the back burner.
Yes.
if anyone's seen our video before, you'll know that I'm not a big fan of Keith Lee.
Uh-huh.
I think he's overrated. He's very much overrated and very much overhyped.
Yeah.
Swerve in the last few months has really proved his worth in this company.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
WWE must be kicking themselves for releasing Swerve Strickland right now. And the whole, like, Swerve and Keith used to be tag champs.
Yes.
And Swerve kind of turned on Keith Lee after they lost the belts and kind of made an enemy of it. You obviously started the Mogul Embassy. And Keith Lee's just been kind of doing not a lot.
Not a lot.
He teamed up with Dustin Rhodes for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple of matches. He fought someone last week on, I think it was Collision. I don't remember who it was. Oh, it was Brian Cage. It was Brian Cage on Collision.
That's right.
And like 2 minutes in, he looked gassed.
He did.
And Brian Cage was doing all the work.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to sort of shame anyone. You know, I'm not that kind of person. I don't be like, oh, you know, look at him, blah, blah. But it does look like Keith's put on a bit more weight. And that's not going to be good for his in-ring abilities.
No.
So I get the feeling this is just a way to have Swerve. Because it's quite funny is that when they broke up, Swerve was the bad guy and Keith Lee was the over face.
Yes.
Now it seems like they might be flipping it because Swerve is kind of becoming like an anti-hero. He's almost becoming like I liken it to Stone Cold Steve Austin, the way that he was the bad guy.
Yeah.
He was kicking his boss's ass.
Him.
But everyone loved him, yeah, exactly. And everyone got a lot of respect out of for Swerve since the Texas Death Match with Adam Page and all the way through the Continental Classic as well. And Keith Lee is just kind of just being like down here, Swerve's up here somewhere, you know. So I get the feeling that Swerve's going to sort of come out a lot stronger in this regardless.
Yeah.
And Keith Lee is just going to end up going back to whatever hold he crawled out of.
Yeah.
I mean, I get the feeling he's been on Ring of Honor because he was talking about was it Shane Taylor Enterprises, but I don't know. Anything more you can say about?
It's a tricky one because I feel like, although, like you say, Keith Lee, it's not doing a whole lot, and in the matches, it always seems to be the other guy that's doing most of the work, but he's still getting quite a big push and winning things. So I'm a little bit nervous about this one, to be honest, about what choices are going to be made.
Yeah.
But looking forward to see Swerve in action again.
Yeah, cool. Who have you got then?
Oh, it's difficult. I think it's going to be Keith Lee.
Keith Lee?
Yeah. It's just a gut feeling, really. I don't have anything to back it up, other than he has been winning recently.
Yeah, well, we've seen win one match so far.
Yes, he's won a match
against Brian Cage. I'm going to go the opposite way. I'm going to go Swerve because he's on such a hot streak right now.
Yeah,
and I feel that it would be really stupid to have him lose.
Yeah,
in my mind.
Cool. I hope you're right.
Me too. Me too. Okay, next up we've got the first of our title matches, and it's Hook versus Wheeler Yuta for the FTW title in an FTW rules match. So this hasn't really had much of a build up. It just kind of had Yuta kind of feuding a little bit with Orange Cassidy and best friends. By proxy, then Hook is obviously kind of loosely aligned, I want to say, with Orange and best friends. And Yuta's like, well, I want Hook, and Hook's like, all right, do it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the build-up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I think Yuta's fighting on Rampage, if I remember rightly. So there is a chance Hook will show up and do something there.
Yeah.
But again, the problem is because there's still at least one show to come. The predictions might change. So again, I'm just going to push this again. If we do change our minds between now and World's End, then we will obviously put in the description below. Have you got anything else to say about this?
Not a lot. I mean, any match with Hook seems to be a good match these days.
Yeah. Not that we get many recently.
No, there haven't been many.
I think there's been one since his All-In match.
I think part of his charm is that he's not there very often, but when he is, he makes an impact. And Yuta is highly skilled. I'm not really feeling him at the moment, I suppose.
I think he's the only 3-time Ring of Honor Pure Champion.
Yeah,
I think he's the only 3-time.
I'm not like I guess I'm not very invested in him as a character at the moment.
I think the only reason they put that back on Yuta was the Katsuyori Shibata, who was the previous champion, had some visa issues. I think it's all settled now, because I did see a thing maybe a week or so ago saying that Katsuyori Shibata is now All Elite.
Nice.
So he has signed an official contract with All Elite Wrestling.
Oh.
But yeah, no, Wheeler Yuta is, as we'll get on to Eddie Kingston later on, but he did say to one of the Blackpool Combat Club members that Wheeler Yuta is the young boy of Blackpool Combat Club. Young boy in New Japan Pro Wrestling is basically the up-and-comers who do everything for the veterans. They get whatever they need, they do whatever the veterans need. They try and learn from the veterans. That's what the term young boy. Yeah, in effect, yeah. That's kind of what the young boy relationship is in Japan. Who you got? Hook all the way. Absolutely. Hook all the way. There's no way they're going to make Yuta a double champ. No chance. No. But then on the back of this, right, Hook could say, well, I've beaten you, so I want a title match for the Ring of Honor Pure Championship.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? I don't think that Yuta is going to go really well in a FTW rules match.
No.
And the last one we saw was, I believe... it was at All In. It was when he fought Jack Perry and won the title back. I don't think we've seen an FTW rule since then.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Next up we have, for the AEW Women's World Championship, Timeless Toni Storm versus the returning Riho. I say returning, she's been back a little while now.
Yeah.
So, there's only so much room on my page, so I've made some notes on my phone, so I'm not checking social media or whatever. I'm looking at literally my notes here. So, Toni Storm won the title at Full Gear from Hikaru Shida. Yes. Some 2 weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, on Dynamite, she had a match with Sky Blue. Yeah. And she beat Sky Blue. And then Riho comes down at the end of the match and kind of was like, well, it's us being a Toni Storm. I was like, I want a match. Next week then, Soraya's like, well, what has she done to deserve a match? I want the match because I haven't had my rematch. Yeah. So they had Soraya versus Riho for the number one contendership. And Riho obviously wins because we're to the match here. Yes. Then we had, who did Toni Storm come out to try and beat down last night? I can't remember who it was. Oh, no, it was Riho. I can't even remember exactly. It was after
Sky Blue.
That's what I'm trying
match, wasn't it?
No, that was Julia Hart. Was it on Collision? Maybe mixing it with Collision.
It did happen recently.
It did happen recently where Riho's in the ring. She beat someone, I believe. And then Toni Storm comes down to try and get the... Oh, no, it was last night. I'm sure it was last night. Oh, I know what it was. It was that Mariah May woman come out to do a promo.
Oh, yeah.
And Riho come out to interrupt her, chases her into the ring. Out comes Toni Storm to try and cheap shot Riho from behind. Riho catches her. She sort of chucks out the ring, and then she does a dive off the top to Luther and Toni because he's holding her up. And yeah. So there's been a little bit of back and forth from both competitors. But nothing major, nothing significant in my mind. Any other thoughts on this?
Riho's amazing. I love her very much.
Yeah, first women's champion in AEW.
Yeah, and Toni Storm. Don't rate her as highly in the ring. No, personally. No. But her like out of the ring stuff has been amazing lately. Just
yeah. Although I am
original, funny.
It has been great, but I'm starting to think that there's only so much of this you can do for it starts getting a bit seen that.
Bit samey.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So I hope they kind of keep it going and move it in different directions, kind of, and kind of keep it fresh. We'll see how they go. Yep. Who you got?
Riho.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably wishful thinking, but that's where I'm going.
Okay, I'm going Toni Storm. I don't think they're ready to flip the belt off of Storm yet because obviously she's doing well with the crowds. Almost Riho is a great athlete. I just don't see him pulling the belt off Storm yet. Cool. Because it's all about sales, right?
Fair enough.
And I'm not saying that Riho can't draw, because she can, but I feel that more people are invested in Toni Storm than they are Riho right now. Cool. I think that you needed to really get Riho in. So I think that maybe was it Riho maybe beat Ruby Soho at some point, and then that's when she went through Soraya, because they did say something about going through the Outcast, so maybe that's where it's... But yeah, I feel that there maybe needed to be a couple more steps to try and get to that title picture, I think. Well, that's just me. Okay. Then we come to our next match, which is the Continental Classic Finals, which is for the Continental Classic Championship, or we don't even know if it's an actual title. the Ring of Honor World Championship, and the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Championships. So it's a triple belt match. So I know I haven't said who's in the match yet, so just bear with me a sec. So what I'm going to do, as I'm talking here, I'm going to put the Gold League brackets to sort of see how that played out, and then the Blue League after that. So for the Gold, we came down to the finals of the round robin tournament with Jon Moxley versus Swerve Strickland versus Switchblade Jay White. Unfortunately, Jon Moxley won that match.
Yeah.
I was really hoping Swerve or Switchblade would win because it would be something different. I don't want AEW getting trapped in the WWE kind of...
No.
Where it's just one guy, and they keep pushing him, and I'm just like, Jon Moxley doesn't need to be in every damn title match. Seriously. Seriously. Okay? Then in the Blue League, we had the finals of that was Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston wins, which I'm really surprised about because it looked like he wasn't going to get anywhere near the finals. The dark horse in my mind, and I think they should have done more with him, was Brody King.
Yeah.
I think that they should have had Brody win a couple more matches. What really annoyed me is Daniel Garcia lost every single match until he fought Brody King, and he beat Brody King.
Yeah.
That really annoyed me. Because Brody King started the tournament beating Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli.
Yeah.
And yet Daniel Garcia beat him. Now, that's not to sort of put down on Daniel Garcia, because he's got great talent, and he's going to go a long way in the business in so many years, whatever.
Yeah, but considering he'd lost every other match.
It just makes Brody look weak.
Yeah.
And it makes the House of Black look weak. And I really don't like that.
Just got lucky.
Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, so that's where we are now. So we got Eddie Kingston versus Jon Moxley. This isn't something new. They are kind of like best friends, as it were. But they've also been teasing a match for months and months. I think it kind of goes back to All In, where Eddie joined Best Friends against the Blackpool Combat Club at Stadium Stampede. Yeah. And it kind of, he's telling Mox, to get in his way and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh God, okay, they've been building, and then they've kind of done this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And I was all of a sudden it's going, here we go, we're actually getting the match. Yep. And obviously Eddie Kingston is the Ring of Honor World Champion. He's the New Japan Strong Openweight Champion. And he put his title, he didn't have to, but he put both those titles on the line as well, which makes this the Triple Crown title match. Now, that's the first time crowning this. There is, underneath that velvet drape or throw or whatever, there is another title belt, which is going to be the Continental Classic. Whether or not that's an actual title belt that will get defended, or whether it's just like the Owen Hart Cup one, where it's just like a trophy. We don't know. They've been a bit, not cagey, but they've been a bit vague, I guess, with that. So we'll see what happens with that. I thought the tournament was great. Had some really good matches, and I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a yearly thing. It kind of felt like a more condensed G1 Classic, G1 Climax rather, from New Japan Pro Wrestling, which does sort of take place over like 19 separate days, which is nuts. Any other thoughts?
I think from the start of this tournament, when Kingston put his belts on the line, in my head it was like, well, he's lost them. I never really expected him to get to the final.
No, I didn't.
I thought it was going to be like completely... the odds were so against him the whole way.
Yes.
So now that he's in the final, the stakes are so much higher than they would have been if it was just someone else. Yeah. Which is, I think, builds up that excitement, which is great. Whether he wins them or not, we'll see. But yeah, I think it was an intriguing direction they took. Yes. Which
is quite funny is that the sort of betting odds for World's End came out pre-finals. Yeah. Of the respective leagues. The finals were looking like it was going to be Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland. And they pulled a complete 180 on everyone. Yeah. And like I said, I am really upset a little bit that Moxley is in the final, because I don't think he needs to be. No. But
if he was going to be in the final, at least he's in there with Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, if he was, and I kind of predicted at the beginning there was going to be Mox and Bryan, and I didn't want to see that, and that I was so worried that's where they were going to go. And even so, sort of going down to the wire of Bryan Danielson versus Eddie Kingston in the Blue League final match on Dynamite last night, I thought, oh, here we go, we're going to get Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Great, whatever. But they didn't, and I'm glad they didn't. So now this has kind of piqued my interest more because Eddie Kingston's in it.
Yes, for sure.
Who you got?
Oh. Like I said, the stakes are so high. I really don't know. Because, like you say, they're really pushing Moxley. But Eddie Kingston is like the underdog. People really love him. And he's so human. I think which really draws people in.
He's a lot more relatable. 2
of those belts are his by right at this point.
He's still current champion, yeah.
He's got so much to lose, but also a lot to gain.
Pretty much everything to gain, yeah.
I know. So I think I'm gonna go with the underdog.
Yeah.
And go with Kingston.
Eddie Kingston?
Yeah.
Who am I going for?
Kingston. Moxley.
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
For me, that's the better story.
Yeah.
Moxley came back to fight. He had a concussion, and he had to drop the international championship to Fenix. Fenix dropped it to Orange Cassidy. Mox came back and fought Orange Cassidy for the title. If they were so adamant about putting a belt back on John Moxley, I think they would have given him the international title.
Yeah.
Moxley doesn't need the titles. No. Yeah, that's. I mean, and again, as you say, everyone loves an underdog story.
Yes, very much.
I think it's very much more of a humane and a more finale-worthy story to have Eddie Kingston go right at the beginning and go, look, I have these 2 titles, take them, put them in the tournament, and I will prove I'm ready for them.
Yeah.
And everyone's going to go into this thinking, well, Moxie's going to beat his ass. But Kingston winning this proves that he belongs in the big dog's yard. And that's where I think they need to go, and that's where I think Tony Khan is going to go.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. Next match we have for the TBS Championship, Julia Hart of the House of Black versus Abaddon. So, Abaddon returned maybe some 4 or so weeks ago after an injury.
Yes.
I want to say it was a knee injury, but I'm not 100% on that one. And she wins her match. I think it was maybe someone like Red Velvet or someone. Or it might have been Kiera Hogan. Either way, the end of the match, the lights go out, and everyone's like, wait, what? And I'm like, wait, what? Poop! Lights come back up. There's Julia Hart teasing the TBS title to Abaddon.
Yeah.
And it's not unheard of that the champion goes to the challenger and says, I want you next. But this feels really like House of Black is picking its victims.
Yeah.
And Julia's kind of going, you think you're spooky? Come get some. And that kind of happened for the next few weeks. The lights go out, the lights come back on, there's Julia Hart. Lights go off, lights come back on, there's Julia Hart. Then, 2 weeks ago on the Collision, Sky Blue and Abaddon, I think or was it Julia Hart and Abaddon, and then Sky Blue comes down and saves her. In comes Thunder Rosa, who's returning from an injury herself. And then which sets up the tag match last week on Collision of Abaddon and Thunder Rosa versus Sky Blue and Julia Hart. Unfortunately, Thunder Rosa does get the pin on that one. Yes. But I believe it was on Sky Blue, not Julia, so it doesn't really carry any weight on the champion, as it were. But it's technically, as it stands, Abaddon has a victory over the champ. I like Abaddon. I really like the Living Dead Girl thing. It looks creepy. It looks great.
Yeah.
But it's more like the shock factor. It's like a zombie movie. You look at a zombie movie, you're going in there to see the melted faces, the skin coming off, the biting the flesh, and all that kind of stuff. Julia Hart is more like The Conjuring. It's a ghost story. It's a spooky possession kind of story. And I love both genres. It's good to kind of see them kind of playing off against each other in that sense. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I got on this one. Have you got anything else?
Oh, it's going to be good. I think there's every chance that Sky Blue will get involved.
Yep.
But then if she gets involved, there's also a chance that Thunder Rosa will come and try and equalise.
Or Willow or Kris Statlander.
Yeah. I mean, Abaddon isn't the sort of person to have friends, but the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
I was going to say, common enemies, right? Common threat.
Yeah, anything could happen. I think this is going to be unpredictable.
Yep.
But it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this. Who have you got? Julia all the way.
Yes.
I
can't see Abaddon in the title picture yet.
No, not this soon after an injury.
No.
But then again, saying that, they brought Kris Statlander back and beat Jade Cargill straight off an injury.
They did.
But apparently that was the plan for a long time. So, yeah, I much like Toni Storm, I think Julia is ruling the roost of this TBS Championship. She's had a lot of, well, I say a lot. She's had maybe half a dozen successful title defenses.
Yeah.
She's doing really well, and she's great.
Definitely.
I think she's fantastic, and she's the one member of the House of Black that's really getting that push. I want to see more of the House of Black. I want to see House of Black getting more of a push.
Yeah.
Let's see how it goes.
How would you feel about Abaddon and House of Black?
I don't think she's the right fit.
No.
Much like it's the visceral look as opposed to the getting in your head and playing with it look. Sky Blue potentially could join, given the affiliation with Julia Hart. She's almost like an honorary member at this point.
Yeah.
So I think she's a good fit for it because of the mist and because of the way she's going with the spookiness and the gimmick. But I think Abaddon's a bit too visceral for it.
Cool. I was just interested.
Yeah, no. This is a valid question. Valid question. Like I say, it's like you watch a zombie movie not to be tense, to be kind of like scared. You watch it for the gore and the visceral nature of them, whereas you watch them at The Conjuring to be creeped out.
Yeah,
you know, it's two very different things for me.
Yeah. Cool.
Good question. Let us know what you think. Does Abaddon fit in the House of Black or not? Okay, next match then we've got for the TNT Championship in a no disqualification match. Christian Cage, the patriarch of the patriarchy, versus the rated R superstar Adam Copeland. Adam Copeland.
Yeah.
Just gotta get down there again. Adam. So obviously, I mean, they've had their thing back and forth. I think we've covered this a little bit already. When he showed up at Wrestle Dream, and he was like, "I'll never fight Christian. You know, he's my best friend. Whatever." They wanted to team up, and Christian tells him to go F himself. Then he starts laying out. He laid out Kill Switch. He being Copeland, pronouns pal. He laid out Kill Switch, aka Luchasaurus. He laid out Nick Wayne, and then he kind of went for Christian. He went, "I want a title match at Dynamite in Canada on December I want to say 2nd. Might have been the 9th. It was one of those 2 dates. I want to say 2nd. To which Christian Cage was like, "Yeah, fine, whatever." The week before then, Christian Cage kind of getting laid out in the ring by Adam Copeland, and Adam Copeland flips his script and tells Christian Cage to go F himself. And it's like, oh, kid gloves are off. Adam Copeland's coming. He's coming. So they had this match on Dynamite, and it was a good match.
Yeah.
As expected from two guys who are the best of friends in real life. You know, they grew up together, entered the business together. You finally listen to that Christian Cage, Something to Wrestle with Bruce Pritchard podcast episode.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's phenomenal. And at the end of the match, the ref takes a bump. It's a bit of a sloppy bump. I wasn't too keen on the way he got bumped. And then out comes Shayna Wayne, Nick Wayne's mother. And I believe she grabbed the title belt. Yeah. Or maybe Christian already grabbed it and he was in the ring. I can't remember specifics. And she's kind of going, right, who am I going to hit? Christian or Adam? Christian or Adam? Christian. Smack! Adam Copeland gets it. He Copeland it.
Awful.
And Christian Cage retains the championship.
Yeah.
Then it sort of comes out that I think it was maybe the week after that, where Christian's in the ring. He calls out Shayna Wayne. Excuse me. And everyone's like, why did you do it? And she's like, well, he put my son on the shelf. He gave the concerto to my son. He's worse than Christian Cage. And then last night on Dynamite, we saw there was supposed to be a sit-down interview. That didn't go as planned.
No.
Adam Copeland kind of runs in, starts beating everyone up, grabs Christian, starts throwing around the building. Takes like maybe 24 guys to separate them. And here we are, no disqualification. Let's go.
Yay.
Anything else you guys have about this?
I mean, there's definitely going to be some kind of interference.
Oh, well, it's no DQ, yeah.
So I think it's going to happen. I think it's worth saying that Shayna Wayne has joined the patriarchy.
It seems it, yeah. It seems it.
The matriarch of the patriarchy, Mother Wayne.
Yeah.
So she's just fully on their side.
Well, there's even a veil, well, not even veil, it was, I can't remember the exact wording, but it was like, yeah, we celebrated all night.
Yeah.
Something to that effect. I can't remember the exact wording of it was,
like,
but there was
scored in a different way.
Yeah, that's, yeah. There's a connotation that Christian Cage and Shayna Wayne are bumping uglies.
That's such a crazy phrase. So yeah, that's an extra sort of element. And I think we've really seen anyone specifically that's on Adam Copeland's side. I could be enemy of my enemy thing again.
Mm-hmm.
There's a possibility Killswitch is gonna switch, maybe at some point. He's been sort of teased that he's not quite feeling the team dynamic.
Christian's losing his control a little bit.
So that could happen, but I'm not sure it will this time round.
Mm.
Yeah, there's another one that anything could happen.
Yep. Who we got?
Adam Copeland.
Adam Copeland?
Yeah.
Who am I going for?
Christian Cage.
Adam Copeland.
Ah!
Yeah, I think it's time. I think Christian Cage is great.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy Christian Cage's work. He's not afraid to push the limits of what he can do and can say and can't say and whatnot. And I like that kind of hard edge to it. It does remind me a lot of the Attitude Era in that sense, which I think is great. So yeah, I think Copeland's going to take it though. I don't think Christian necessarily needs a title.
No.
Not that I feel Adam Copeland needs a title.
No.
But this kind of caps off him coming in, trying to strike up this tag team partnership with his long friend, being told to go F himself, and then Christian's like, I prefer this belt over you, and then Copeland's just kind of ripping the belt from him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that Killswitch is going to show up, and I do get the feeling that this is where he's going to switch.
Yeah, okay.
The only other option I can think that would lean in favor of Adam Copeland would be that Jack Perry would turn up and be like, well, you cost me a lot of stuff, now I'm costing you the TNT title. But given that they were recently turning him heel before his suspension, I don't know if that's the way they want to go with it. So I think it's more likely Killswitch will switch.
Yeah.
And become Luchasaurus again.
That'd be nice.
The rated R dinosaur. No, I know.
Dinosaur.
They could form a tag team. Call it Luchaland. Copeland, Luchasaurus,
Sounds
Luchaland.
too much like La La Land.
Yeah, I know, a little bit. Swiftly moving on. And that brings us, Leanne, to it's time for the main event. MJF defending his AEW World Championship against Samoa Joe.
Yeah.
Now, there's a lot going on here. This is why my phone is on the table with my notes. I have extensive notes of what's happened over the last month and a half.
All right, let's go.
So Full Gear, Switchblade versus MJF. We're not going to go in massive detail. Obviously, MJF retains.
Yeah.
After being beaten up, taken out, whatever. He comes back. And if you want to know more about Full Gear, check out our reaction video. The following Dynamite, Joe comes out with Adam Cole's in the ring with MJF. And Joe comes out. And Joe's like, you need to live up to your promise. I helped you retain the titles last night against, I think it was Gun Club. Against the Guns, Bullet Club, Guns of the Bullet Club rather, not Gun Club. And he's done. MJF was like, nope. And then Adam Cole is like, dude, you've got to live up to your word, otherwise what are you? And he's like, fine, World's End, and that's where the match comes from. So we've had this match known for about a month and a bit. The next week on Dynamite, MJF's cutting a promo and he gets attacked by the Masked Men. Joe runs in with the bat and he sort of runs off the Devil's Masked Men. And then on the screen, the Devil appears and it says then text, "Are you a hero, Max?" And he kind of goads him into accepting a match next week on Dynamite. On Collision, Joe's having December 2nd, Joe's having an interview. And the Kingdom come in and kind of claims that MJF is the devil, and Joe's just kind of shrugging it off like...
Yeah.
I'm kind of going through everything, where the build-up, regardless of whether MJF's... It's all about the devil stuff. Following on Dynamite on December 6th, Roddy's having an interview. He once again claims that MJF's going to turn on Joe. He's kind of like, I've got to take consequences for my actions, blah, blah, all this kind of stuff. He stands up out of the wheelchair and chucks the wheelchair. He doesn't need the wheelchair anymore. Neck strong, baby. Neck strong. Roddy! And then kind of that's where we sort of land with the Kingdom, because I get the feeling the Kingdom's going to be part of this at some point as well.
Yep. Then
Renee's at the back trying to get over with MJF. Hangman Page comes in and they start talking about the Texas Death Match. MJF comes out of his locker room, starts belittling Page, calls him basically a nobody and nothing. And MJF says that Hangman Page is the devil. Hangman says, nope, it's you. You're the devil. You're just trying to divert. And Joe comes in before a fight breaks out between the two, kind of breaks him up. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to rile him up? We've got a match. What are you trying to do? So later on the night, Joe goes to the ring for the tag team match. Lights go out. No masked men.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. On the screen, MJF is laying on the floor unconscious with a broken beer bottle around him. So it looks like somebody's attacked him, smashed a beer bottle, and everyone's like, beer bottle? Who drinks beer? Cowboy, Hangman Page, right? Right? Mm-hmm. Next week, then, Joe accuses Hangman Page of attacking MJF, and Hangman was nowhere to be seen when Joe went looking around the building for him. Obviously, we did see during the promo the week previous that Hangman did have a suitcase with him.
Yeah.
Hangman says he doesn't care about the devil or MJF, and Roderick Strong comes out, and he's still sort of claiming that MJF's the devil, and we've never seen the devil and MJF at the same time. And then it leads into a match with Hangman and Roddy, blah, blah, blah. Devil shows up at the end of the episode.
Yeah. With
the Hangman Page getting beaten down, and they put him through a car windshield.
Mm-hmm.
That's pivotal.
Yes.
Okay, that's a big clue there. It could be a big clue. Could be a big clue.
Yeah.
There's a lot of subversion here and diversions. On December 20th on Dynamite, there are comments on how whenever someone's taken out by the masked men, you usually see it.
Yeah.
But with MJF, it was just him laying there.
Mm-hmm.
So the Acclaimed, you see them getting beaten down.
Yeah.
Switchblade, going back months ago, you see him getting beaten down.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Hangman getting beaten down. When MJF got taken down, it was just him laying there.
Yeah.
Okay. So MJF comes out, he claims the reverse. The masked man didn't attack Joe when he was 4-on-1 in the ring.
Yeah.
They surrounded the ring. Joe was in the middle. They backed off.
Mm-hmm.
Why? So then the 4 masked men come out, they hit the ring, and they get cleared out. The devil appears on the screen, and he's challenging MJF. He says, "Do you up for a challenge next week for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships?" Samoa Joe accepts.
Yeah.
Not MJF. Joe's like, we accept. We're going to take all these guys out. Fast forward to last night's Dynamite. MJF's at ringside, and Joe is seen on the screen. He's clutching his knee like he's been attacked.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, here we go. They've struck again. MJF gets to the ring. He's like, oh, I'll do it alone. I've done it before, which he has.
Yeah.
I'll do this myself. Attack men, the more masked men, because there's 2 in the ring, and there's 2 under the ring. One of them jumps out, hits MJF in the shoulder, which is strapped up, and it's got this other strapping on it. Hits him in the shoulder, chucks him in the ring. They use the feet on the ropes after hitting a heat seeker on MJF, and the masked men of the new Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions.
Mm-hmm.
Joe comes down when all 4 are sort of beating MJF down. They come on the phone, they're kicking him around. Joe comes down with a chair, and he clears the ring.
Yeah. Then
on the screen again, the devil, and then the words, "It was a pleasure doing business with you," and you just see Joe kind of going, and he slams Maxwell with the chair.
Mm-hmm.
So Joe made a deal with the devil.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
What a ride.
Oh boy. It has been crazy. And it's like I've said before, I like a nice long burn. And this has been great. This hasn't just been the last 6 weeks. This has probably been the last 4 months.
Yeah.
And there's always been a little something every week.
Mm-hmm.
Just those little breadcrumbs. Now, the windshield. It's real glass, Crimea River.
Mm-hmm.
Who said it?
Jack Perry.
What if Jack Perry's the man in the mask?
I was wondering.
I have another one which has been bumping around the internet a little bit. Bray Wyatt was coming back, and we had Uncle Howdy.
Yes.
Who was Uncle Howdy under the mask? Do you remember?
I can't remember the name. Sorry.
Bo Dallas.
Yeah.
Who is Bray Wyatt's real life brother?
Yes.
When Bray unfortunately passed, Bo Dallas did say, "I don't want anything to do with this anymore." He walked away from WWE, supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
What if it's Bo Dallas under the mask?
Yeah.
That would be a switch. That would be a hell of a swerve. That would be like, wait, what? But then there's obviously now the 90-day no compete clause. People like Dolph Ziggler, Mustafa Ali, people like that could be some of the masked men, which is possibly why this thing has been long burning so long. We don't know.
Sort of a little bit of a comparison to back in the day when Mustafa Ali was doing the caca stuff.
That and then Retribution.
Yeah, well, it's the good stuff turned into the bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, Retribution started off really well.
Yeah, they did.
And then they just drove it into the ground, which was ridiculous. So that's the entire build up since Full Gear.
Yes.
Anything else you want to say about this?
There's a lot of emotion in this.
There really is.
And just like the accusations back and forth, betrayal, There's a lot to it. How's Adam Cole doing? Do we know?
We don't. We haven't seen him.
know.
As far as I can remember, we haven't seen him since that Dynamite after Full Gear.
Yeah, it's probably unlikely that he'll be here for this, I imagine.
I doubt it. He snapped his ankle in 2 places.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
I know, I'm just trying to think of things that
No, I
might,
know. Yeah.
might happen. I think anyone could get involved. There's so many people that have been just like tangentially involved in this devil story that anyone could like get in and try and help.
And sort of thinking about it,
side.
It was a pleasure doing business with you.
Mm.
Now, who goaded Max to take on the match at Full Gear? Adam Cole.
Yeah.
It could still be Adam Cole.
Maybe.
That's the thing.
The devil hasn't been doing any of the aggression. He's just been on the screen.
The only time we've seen the devil in person is when he steps out of the car.
Yeah.
And is the ankle healed enough to be able to just stand, like step out of a car and stand there?
Ooh.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Ooh. Is that your final thoughts?
Yeah.
Who have you got winning?
I'm going Samoa Joe.
You're going Joe? Okay.
I think MJF has further to fall before facing the devil.
I don't.
No?
I think it's going to be... I think MJF's retaining.
Okay.
And he'll do it by hook or by crook.
Yeah.
There'll probably be a ref bump.
Mm-hmm.
The Dynamite Diamond Ring will probably get involved.
Cool.
It's possible the masked men try and sort of intervene and try and sort of attack MJF.
Yep.
But they miss. Mm-hmm. Or MJF kind of is key to it. And he's like, oh, and they attack Joe. Joe goes nuts, attacks the masked men, which gives MJF an opening.
Okay.
And takes out Joe.
All right.
But then I'm kind of in 2 minds of whether or not I want to know who the devil is now.
Yeah.
Or if I wanted to keep going a bit more. It's like...
Yeah.
I liken it to the build-up to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You know the presents are there under the tree, but you can't open them until December 25th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
I think a little bit longer. I think we need to wait a little bit longer.
I think that the best way, in my mind, they could do this is wait longer, right? Have MJF retain, and then on Dynamite go, right, I want the devil next. I want him in my ring, and I will put this on the line. He will have the belt. I want to put this on the line. And then that's when he comes out, and he's like...
Okay.
And right at the beginning of the match, he'll unmask, and everyone will be like... to whoever it is, and it'll be someone maybe like maybe it is Adam Cole, you know?
It is MJF, and now there's 2 of them.
Oh, imagine that, that'd be weird. I mean, that could work too. Have the devil come out first, and then Maxwell's music hit, and nothing happens, and then go, it was me!
Got you all along.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
I win.
But I feel that the Adam Cole blow off, and then that will be heel turn for Adam Cole, and that's when he beats MJF for the title.
Yeah.
That's kind of how that's one of the ways I kind of see it going. Let us know what you think.
And I want to know, how do they decide which of the 4 masked men are the actual champions? Because no one can tell the difference.
Freebird rules, I guess. Until they're unmasked, they're Freebird rules.
Yeah.
I mean, New Day did it.
Yeah, very true.
Okay, which of these matches then? So final thoughts. Which of these matches are you least looking forward to?
Least looking forward to? I think it might be... Oh, it's a bit tricky.
Yeah.
I think Andrade versus Miro.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I feel the build-up hasn't been there enough.
Yeah.
I feel you need a lot more build-up for this.
It might turn out to be great.
Oh yeah, not denying that. Both guys are great at talents. Yep. But I like stuff with story.
Yes.
You know, like Swerve and Keith Lee. That's been a long run for a year.
Yeah.
Jericho, Don Callis, Big Bill. That's been burning for about a month and a half.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I like my stuff with story. I don't just like the whole... Unless it's like a battle royale, because there's going to be some sort of thing for the battle royale. I imagine like a winner gets a contendership for whatever title or whatever.
That'll be something.
I'm surprised Orange Cassidy isn't in this actually.
Yeah.
Defending his international title. What is your most anticipated match?
Edge and Christian. I know it's not Edge and Christian, but you know.
Christian Cage and
Adam Copeland.
You're gonna get us cancelled.
It's quite good to say.
So yeah, Christian and Adam.
Yes.
Cool. For me, because of the story, MJF and Joe.
Fair enough.
MJF, like Joe's been protecting MJF for ages.
Yeah.
And then to just flip it and start beating him down, it's like, oh, this is great. I love it. That drama, that tension, the excitement, not knowing who the masked men are, not knowing who the devil is. It's great. I love it. Cool. Any other final thoughts?
Oh, it's gonna be a great show.
Cool.
Don't know if it'll be as long as usual with New Year's happening, but
maybe.
I
kind of hope it's not like 5 hours long. It is. So we'll be watching this New Year's Eve. It airs on the 30th or 31st, technically for us in the UK. It'll air 1 a.m. We won't be staying up at 1 a.m. So yeah, we'll be watching it back the next morning, and we will try and, well, I'm sure I'll get the reactions video out before the end of the year.
Yes.
So look for our reactions video on Sunday. Yeah, Leanne, take us away.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel, that really helps us out. And hit the bell to be notified when we drop new videos. You can join in the conversation either in the comments below or on our socials. Our link tree's in the description below. We'll take you to Instagram, X, and Facebook. So let us know your thoughts on the Devil's Identity and the Masked Men. That kind of thing. I think we asked another question earlier, but I can't remember.
Does Abaddon belong in House of Black or not?
Yes.
Was she really good fit?
Let us know your thoughts. We will see you for a reactions video. Until then,
don't go jumping people in black masks, I guess. I don't know.
Don't be the devil.
Continue having a good holiday season.
That one.
Yeah, scroll on.
Okay, bye.